Electrolysis of molten zinc chloride. For the electrolysis of molten zinc chloride solution, we need one electrolytic cell, and in this cell we have two electrodes, one power supply and container that contain the molten solution of zinc chloride, and this reaction is going on at the high temperature, so we have to provide the heat continuously during the experiment. And now the two electrodes, the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, it is called anode, and also we call it positive electrode. And the electrode that is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, it is called cathode, and also known as a negative electrode. The molten zinc chloride solution, it has negative chloride ions and positive zinc ions. In the solution there are many zinc ions and also chloride ions. They are free to move, and all the chloride ions, they move towards the anode, and all the zinc ions, they move towards the cathode. When chloride ions reach at the electrode, they release the extra electron here at anode, and chloride ion convert into chlorine, and chlorine that exists in the molecular form. So two chlorine atoms combine together through the covalent bonding and release in the form of the chlorine gas at the anode. So I will write the reaction at the anode like this. Each chloride that is negative ion, when it reach at the surface of the anode, here it will release the electron and convert into neutral chlorine, and this process is called oxidation because it is the removal of the electron. So as the chlorine exists in molecular form, and two chloride ions, they release the electron and they convert into the chlorine, and these two chlorine atoms, they combine with each other and convert into Cl2, and this chlorine will release in the form of the gas at the surface of the anode. Now at the same time, when oxidation is going on at the anode, there is also another process, that is a reduction process, that is going on at the cathode. The electrons are released by the chloride ion, and these electrons, they move through the external circuit from anode to the cathode, and at the same time the zinc ions, they have the positive charge and they move towards the cathode, and these positive ions, they absorb the electron that has been released by the chloride ions at the anode surface. So these electrons, they are absorbed by the zinc ions, and zinc ions will reduce into zinc metal. So reaction at the cathode, zinc ions that has +2 charge, they will absorb 2 electrons and they convert into pure metal zinc. This process is called reduction because the electrons are absorbed by the zinc ions, and this is called reduction process. So in this process, zinc ions, they convert into zinc metal, and the zinc metal will deposit at the surface of the cathode. Now the question is, when does the bulb light up? When there is oxidation process at the anode surface, the electrons are moving from anode to cathode, and these electrons are absorbed by the zinc ions. The flow of the electron is called current. And when the electron flow from anode to anode, this time bulb will light up. And the second one is what is observed at each electrode. In case of the anode, chloride ions, they convert into chlorine gas. It means the chlorine gas will release at the anode surface, and at the cathode, zinc ions, they convert into the zinc metal, and zinc metal will deposit at the surface of the cathode. So chlorine gas release at the anode, and zinc metal deposit at the cathode. Now there are some questions related to the electrolysis of the solution. First of all, define the electrolysis. Electrolysis is the process by which ionic substances are decomposed into simpler substances when an electric current is passed through them. It means electrolysis is the process that is going on only when electric current is passed through the molten solution or aqueous solution of an electrolyte. So this question number 1b. What do you call the substance broken down by the electrolysis? This substance is called electrolyte because when electric current is passed through the electrolyte, it will convert into the simpler substances. Question 1c. What type of the bonding is present in the compound that can be electrolyzed? The bonding type in the electrolyte, it should be ionic. Now the question number 2 is the predict the product formed at the cathode and anode when the following compounds are melted and then electrolyzed. It means we have the compound, they are in the molten form, not their solution form. So in case of the zinc chloride, the zinc is positive and chloride is negative. So the zinc will deposit at the cathode and chlorine gas will release at the anode. Lithium bromide, lithium will deposit at the cathode and bromine in the liquid form, it will be at the anode. Iron is a cation, so iron will deposit at the cathode and fluorine gas will release at the anode. In case of sodium oxide, sodium metal will deposit at the cathode and oxygen gas will release at the anode. Potassium chloride, potassium metal will deposit at the cathode and chlorine gas will release at the anode. So for the molten sodium chloride solution, first of all, this is the balanced symbolic equation in which the sodium chloride, it is in the liquid form and convert into the sodium metal and chlorine gas. Sodium metal will be deposited at the cathode, chlorine gas will release at the anode. During the electrolytic decomposition, first of all, sodium chloride that is in a molten form, it will convert into the sodium positive and chloride negative ions. These chloride ions, they will move towards the anode, and at the anode they release the electron and convert into chlorine gas. And chlorine gas, its physical state is gas, and here there is removal of 2 electrons, and this process is called oxidation. At cathode, positive ions, these are sodium ions. Sodium ions, they move towards the cathode. Here they will absorb the electron, the same electron that has been released by the chloride at the surface of the anode, and these electrons they move from anode to cathode through the external circuit, and at the cathode these electrons are absorbed by the sodium ions, and sodium ions, when they absorb the electron, it will convert into sodium metal neutral, and this sodium is in the liquid form. So this is the reduction process. This is oxidation process because electron has been removed, and this one is the reduction process at the cathode because electron has been added to the sodium. Now the whole reaction, that is 2 chloride ions plus 2 sodium ions, these electrons are cancelled by this because these electrons released from these electrons released by the chloride ions and the same electron are absorbed by the sodium. It means we can cancel them, and this is total reaction at the cathode and anode. It is called redox reaction, and we get chlorine at the surface of the anode in the form of the gas plus sodium metal, neutral sodium metal in the liquid form at the cathode. Now the question number 4. Which of the following solution would deposit metal at cathode during the electrolysis. Now we have these compounds, and these compounds are in aqueous form. It means they are in the form of the solution, not in the molten form. At the time of the electrolysis, there are positive ions from this compound as well as positive ions from the water also. It means in case of the potassium bromide, we have potassium metal at the cathode and hydrogen ions at the cathode. Now, which will deposit at the cathode? It depends upon the reactivity series. In case of if we see the reactivity series, in reactivity series we compare the potassium and hydrogen. Potassium is more reactive than hydrogen. And if we have two ions at the cathode, the ion which has low reactivity, it will deposit at the cathode and other ion will remain in the solution. In this case, hydrogen is less reactive than potassium, so hydrogen ion, it will convert into hydrogen gas at the surface of the cathode, and hydrogen gas will release, and potassium ion, it will remain in the solution. In this case, hydrogen gas will release at the cathode. In case of the calcium chloride, we compare the calcium and hydrogen. Calcium and hydrogen. Calcium above the hydrogen, so hydrogen is less reactive than calcium. So hydrogen gas will release at the cathode, and calcium ions, they will remain in the solution. Here also iron. In case of iron and hydrogen, iron is iron above the hydrogen. Hydrogen is less reactive as compared to the iron, and hydrogen will release at the cathode and iron will remain in the solution. So at the cathode, hydrogen gas will release. In case of the copper chloride, if we see the position of copper and hydrogen in reactivity series, copper is less reactive than hydrogen. Here copper will deposit at the cathode and hydrogen remain in the solution. Copper and hydrogen. So copper is less reactive. It means copper metal. It will deposit at the cathode and hydrogen will remain in the solution. For sodium sulfate, if we see sodium and hydrogen. Now in reactivity series, sodium is above the hydrogen. So sodium is more reactive as compared to the hydrogen. Hydrogen gas will release and sodium will remain in the solution. Okay. Sodium and hydrogen. Hydrogen gas will release at the cathode because hydrogen is less reactive than sodium. In case of silver nitrate, we compare the silver and hydrogen. Silver is less reactive than hydrogen. So silver will deposit. This is silver and hydrogen. Silver in reactivity series, silver is less reactive than hydrogen. So silver will deposit at the cathode and hydrogen will remain in the solution. If the experiment is going on at the high temperature, this metal will be in the liquid form, otherwise it will be in solid form. It will deposit at the cathode in solid form. Now question 4b, that how we decide that which element will be deposited at the cathode and which will remain in the solution. How we decide? We decide according to the reactivity series. In reactivity series, these metals are arranged according to their reactivity, and according to the rule, the metals that are less reactive, they will deposit at the cathode, and the other positive ion, they will remain in the solution. In this case, for example, in the first case, potassium bromide, we have potassium ions as well as hydrogen ion from the water. Both are present at the cathode, and there is competition between these two positive ions. Hydrogen is less reactive as compared to the potassium, so hydrogen gas will release at the cathode and potassium ion will remain in the solution. And for example, the other case here, copper and hydrogen. Copper, if we see the position of the copper and hydrogen in reactivity series, copper is less reactive than hydrogen. So copper will deposit at the electrode and hydrogen will remain in the solution. So for this, which element will deposit at the cathode, which will remain in the form of the ions in the solution, we will decide according to the reactivity series. Question number 5. A solid ionic substance do not conduct electricity. They conduct the electricity when they are in the aqueous form or molten form. For this solid ionic substances, they have a strong electrostatic force of attraction between the positive and negative ions, and these positive and negative ions, they are fixed at their positions. So when they are in the crystalline form, positive and negative ions, they cannot move towards their respective electrode, so they cannot conduct the electricity. For example, if we take the example of sodium chloride, it is present in the form of the crystal, that is it present in cubic form, and in this cubic form, the structure of the sodium chloride, it is present in the form of the crystal, and it is in cubical form, and all the positive and negative ions are present at their fixed position. They cannot leave their fixed position. There is force of attraction between them. This is ionic bond. Due to this ionic bond, these positive and negative ions, they cannot leave their position. When they cannot leave their position, they cannot move towards their respective electrodes, cathode and anode, so they cannot conduct the electricity. But when they are present in the molten form or in aqueous form, these positive and negative ions, they can freely move, and there is no electrostatic force of attraction between them. They can move towards the respective electrodes, cathode and anode, and then for example, in case of sodium chloride, it will convert into sodium positive and chloride negative ions. Sodium ions moves towards the cathode, and at the cathode they will absorb the electron and convert into the neutral metal, and this metal will deposit at the cathode. And all the chloride ions, they will move towards the anode, and here they will release the electron, and there will be oxidation process, and chloride ions convert into the chlorine gas, and chlorine gas will release at the anode. So the ionic substance, when they are present in the crystalline form, they cannot conduct the electricity because the positive and negative ions are fixed at their position. And when they are in molten form and in aqueous form, these positive and negative ions, they are free to move. So they, by the movement of the positive and negative ions toward their respective electrodes, they can conduct the electricity, and this is possible only when they are present in aqueous or molten form. To explain the changes at the electrodes, I have two electrodes here. One is called anode and other is cathode. Anode is called positive electrode, and cathode is negative electrode. Anode is connected with the positive terminal of battery, and cathode is connected with the negative terminal of the battery. Now if we have I have solution, and inside this solution there are positive and negative ions. Here we have molten solution or aqueous solution, and in this molten or aqueous solution there are many positive and negative ions, and all the negative ions, they will move towards the anode, and all the positive ions, they will move towards the cathode. Now it depends upon the charges on the ions and charges on the electrodes. This electrode cathode, it has negative charge, that's why positive ions moves towards the cathode. And anode has positive charge, that's why all the negative ions, they will move towards the anode. Here at the anode and cathode, there is oxidation and reduction process. Negative ions, when they reach at the surface of the anode, they will lose the electron, and when they lose the electron, they convert into the neutral atom. And this process at the anode, it is called oxidation process, because loss of electron is called oxidation. So oxidation will occur at the anode. Positive ion, when they reach at the surface of the cathode, they will absorb the electron, and addition of the electron is called reduction. So reduction will occur at the cathode. These electron, when negative ions, they release the electron here, and these electrons, they move from anode to cathode, and when they reach at the surface of the cathode, they will absorbed by the cations. So addition of the electron is called reduction, and removal of the electron is oxidation. I will take the example of lead bromide, PbBr2. First it will convert into lead positive ion and bromide negative ions. Now if I have two electrodes, one is, this is cathode, and this one is anode. This is anode is positive electrode, and cathode is negative electrode. Here I have bromide ions, these two bromide ions, and here I have lead ion. This lead ion is here. Because lead has positive charge, it will move towards the cathode, and bromide ion, they have a negative charge, they will move towards the anode. Now at the surface of the anode, there is oxidation process, because these bromide ions, they will release the electron here, and this bromide ion also release the electron here. And this bromide ion, it will convert into the neutral bromine, and this also convert into the neutral bromine. When it lose the electron here, it will convert into the neutral bromine, and these two bromine, they will combine with each other and convert into bromine, because bromine exists in a molecular form. And here these two electrons, they move from anode to cathode, and when they reach here, these electrons, they are absorbed by the lead. Now lead will absorb these two electrons, and it will convert into lead neutral. So lead will convert lead cation, it absorb the electrons and convert into the neutral matter. Now here is the addition of the electron, so this process is called reduction, and here is the removal of the electron, it is called oxidation. Now this is reduction half, and this is the oxidation half. And for the reduction half, I will write the equation, that is the reduction equation. This lead cation, it has a positive charge, and it absorbs these 2 electrons. So I will write plus 2 electron and convert it into the lead neutral. And this here in this half equation, there is the addition of electron, so this one is the reduction. And now here in this half oxidation process, in this oxidation process we have these 2 bromide ions, and these bromide ions, they will release the electron here. They release the electron and convert into neutral bromine. and if because it releases electron, so I will write these 2 electron in the product. I will write this equation like this also: bromide ions minus 2 electron, and it will convert into bromine neutral. Now we can write this equation. This is oxidation process. We can write this equation in this way or in this way, because in this case we write the electrons in the product. It means the bromine release electron, and here minus 2 electron mean the 2 electron has been released from the bromine. So we can write this equation in this way or in this way. If we have molten solution of any ionic substance, then this process is very simple. We have only one kind of the positive and one kind of the negative ions. For example, in case of the potassium hydroxide, if it is in molten form, potassium ion moves towards the cathode and hydroxide ion moves towards the anode, and oxygen gas will release at the anode and potassium metal will deposit at the cathode. But if we have aqueous solution of potassium hydroxide, then we have positive and negative ions from water also. Potassium hydroxide release potassium ion and hydroxide ions, and at the same time water also release the hydrogen ion and hydroxide ions. Now we have potassium ion and hydrogen ion. These positive ions, they will move towards the cathode, and hydroxide ion moves towards the anode. At the cathode there is competition between the hydrogen and potassium ion. And in case of the hydrogen and potassium ions, the hydrogen is less reactive as compared to the potassium ions according to the reactivity series. So hydrogen gas will release at the cathode, and potassium ion will remain in the solution. For this, for example, I will explain reaction at the cathode. At the cathode, cathode is also called negative electrode, because it is connected with the negative terminal of the battery, and all the positive ions, that are hydrogen ion and potassium ions, they will move towards the cathode. So now according to the reactivity series, potassium ions, they will remain in the solution because they are more reactive, and hydrogen is less reactive, so it will release at the cathode. Hydrogen ion, they will from here they will absorb the electron and convert into the neutral hydrogen here, and this hydrogen also, it will convert into neutral hydrogen, and these two hydrogen combine with each other and convert into hydrogen gas, and hydrogen gas release at the surface of the cathode. And now these potassium ions, they will remain in the solution because they are more reactive. And I will write the reaction at the cathode. Reaction at cathode. We have these two hydrogen ions, they have positive charge, and they absorb 2 electrons and convert into hydrogen gas. So hydrogen ions, they absorb 2 electrons, convert into hydrogen gas, and addition of the electron is called reduction, and it means that at the surface of the cathode reduction process occur. And in this case, hydrogen gas will release and potassium ion, they will remain in the solution. At the anode, we have hydroxide ion from water. Water, it will decompose into hydrogen ion and hydroxide ions. These hydroxide ions will move towards the anode. If we have the aqueous solution of potassium bromide, and we have potassium and bromide ions. So at the anode we have 2 type of the negative ions, and for example, I have here anode, and anode is also called positive electrode, and negative ions, these ions, they will move towards the anode. So here is also competition between the negative ions. Now in this situation there are two factors: the reactivity of the negative ions as well as the concentration. In this case, water is weak electrolyte. We have a few number of the hydroxide ions. The concentration of the bromide ion is more. So bromide ions, they will move towards the anode and they will release the electron here and convert into neutral bromine. And these two neutral bromine, they will combine with each other through the covalent bonding, and bromine will release at the surface of the anode, and hydroxide ion it will remain in the solution. For example, if I have a KCl solution, it will convert into potassium ion plus chloride ion, and at the same time water will produce the hydrogen ion and hydroxide ions. At the anode we have two type of the negative ions, chloride ions and hydroxide ions. Now we know water is weak electrolyte, and it means we have few number of the hydroxide ions and chloride ions are more. So chloride ion moves towards the anode. Here they will release the electron and convert into the neutral chlorine. This is the normal case when we take the aqueous solution of potassium chloride. Chlorine gas will release at the anode. But if we take very dilute solution of potassium chloride, it means we have less number of the chloride ions and we have more hydroxide ions. So hydroxide ions will move towards the anode. Hydroxide ions, they will release the electron and convert into the oxygen and water molecule. If I balance this will be like this. So oxygen gas will release at the anode and chloride ion, they will remain in the solution.